Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate your support of the channel. As always, if you're looking for other ways to do so, you'll find those down in the description. Today, it is yours truly in my TS-5. It's the next tank on the 100 battle hit parade. So we're at about 75, 80 battles into that thing. Just finished the M3Y recently, and now we're doing a little casemate action. Had this battle where a couple interesting things happened, so I wanted to talk about it. We're bottom tier. Pretty good tank for bottom tier. Decent pen. Okay-ish armor. Good old TD action right there, right? A sort of assault-ish TD. This thing can be absolutely brutal in the right situation. This doesn't really look like the right situation because we've got 3 artillery, a fairly open map, minus some of the brawling areas like the airship and the castle over there. It's just feeling a little bit dicey to me. So we load in. We're going to talk about Matchmaker. We're going to talk about initial assessment of the map and the Matchmaker, the tanks on the other side, and initial positioning. We're going to talk about flexing and moving as the battle starts to progress. We're going to talk a bit about brawling with TDs and taking on other TDs, and then some late game stuff because I'm going to end last to the end. Kedge is actually in this battle. He's on the other side in his 50/51, Kedjofer from Clan BWSO. Did not know that until the end. He sent me a note at the end. I am running a rammer. We've got the bounty vents right there and an IRM on this tank. 10 heat rounds, 26 regular, 4 HE, large kits, and a automatic fire extinguisher. We'll just kind of zip along here. I actually had to go to the door as this thing started, so we're getting a little bit of a late start. That being said, and this is important for this battle, one of the things I talk a lot about is initial positioning and going to the critical terrain. I consider the blimp to be the critical terrain, but as with every game, every match, you've got to assess what your team's doing. I am getting better at that. I will say that I am pretty darn good at going to critical terrain and holding my own, but sometimes that just gets you overwhelmed. So once you get to know the maps and understand the positions you should go to, usually, mostly, now you have to start learning to look at the team deployment and what's going on in the particular match and not getting yourself overextended. So just take a quick look at the mini-map down here, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, and just kind of take that in for a second. And this actually worked to our advantage to some extent. I don't like not starting at the beginning because in a slow TD, that can really get you caught out and you won't be able to get to the important places. But I had to run to the door, I got back real quick, and this is what we found. And I thought it was actually kind of interesting. You will note, if we look at the Matchmaker, we have a Kronwagen on top, they have an E100. Everything else looks relatively similar. You've got a couple big assault TDs and a 110E4. They've got the 268-4, slight advantage to them. A couple other kind of sniping TDs like a Tortoise and a WT for us, and a Conway and an Object 263 for them. The 3 aforementioned Arty and a couple EBRs on each side. So otherwise, a fairly even kind of setup. So I looked at that and I said, well, poop stains. To include the fact that nobody went to Guido's critical terrain of the blimp. Well, clearly it's now not really the critical terrain. You have to be able to, in this game, look at this, and we'll just let it get going. Look at this and go, okay, I would love to be over there brawling, and my initial plan was to go over there and back up any heavies and maybe the Kron and see if my extra TD gun in there could help them, keep them honest, but that didn't happen. Notice we have a whole stack of guys right in the middle right here, sitting up on this ridge. So we've got a chunk of our dudes here. Only the Kron went over to the castle. Only the WT and the Tortoise with me backing them up. I have no intention at this point of going up to the blimp. So I'm going to have to watch this. My intention is to sit back here and see if we can't catch an enemy team being a little bit silly when they get to the blimp and go, ooh, no one's there. We're going to try to push in. I will throw a couple other things out. I found out afterwards that apparently the WZ was AFK most of the game. You can see that he's lit, the WZ-120. I believe that's the one he was talking about. That's the only WZ. Okay, got this from Kedge. He's lit there, but he kind of goes away and then doesn't show up till later. And we're about to lose our 53-55. He never types anything or says anything, but you'll see it's this War Machine guy, M53-55, and I don't even know if he is, he is aiming. All right, so he's moving around. Watch what he does. He goes straight up to the building, puts his gun into the building, and this is really the only kind of TK action that's really left in the game. And Artie can actually kill itself against... I don't know what the answer to that is. Take it out. Don't let him do it. Look, there was a counter shot right there. That was very strange. That was quite late. I don't know if anyone was there. Maybe he was just guessing. So he fires into that, and he's about to kill himself. All right, so back to the action. I know the E-100 is on the way. The WT has gone up to spot. Bit dangerous for him, not really the tank for it. And I suspect to some extent he's kind of doing what I would oftentimes do in the past and go, well, someone's got to get over there. Let it be me. I'm a pretty good player. I'll make something happen. We'll figure it out as we get there. And it's a good thing he was there because he does help the Tortoise and I get some shots. It's unfortunate it wasn't a medium or something a little better than that. And here comes the E-100. So initially, the best thing I can do is kind of hang out back here. I tried to make a nest there, and it really wasn't working based on I don't have enough gun depression. Then I kind of realized this tree was here. And you'll watch me. I'm trying to actually hit this other tree, and I somehow miss it or something. I felt like there was another tree there, but yeah, right there. I couldn't figure it out. Let's try to knock it down. But it's okay because the tree I did knock down is going to work out for me as I back up right here. So we got it knocked down. We built ourselves a nest. That's something you want to do with TDs. We're not doing great. We're down 4 tanks. There's our 110E4. He's already dead. We did get their EBR. That's okay. I'm going to select the 3Y because I know I can pen him. I'm thinking, let's get rid of him and then just start picking on the E-100. And it looks like this guy wants to get in there and try to get some lights. He knows he only has so long to last before he dies. I'm firing heat, and this can be problematic because I go into the, looks like the mantlet in that case. Heat will be eaten by tracks. We say it every time. I wish I had just been firing AP at that guy as well. It's probably all I needed, and I might have had more HE or heat rounds, sorry, towards the end. We sneak one into the lower plate. It's not a great angle. You'll notice that the E-100 is kind of angled, so I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at the turret. If you can give me some side turret, that was a track. Honestly, it actually was a track. That's exactly what I was trying to do to him. I wanted to pin him down. What I didn't want was him to continue to creep closer to me, and at some point, he's going to get me lit. So we're going to go for another track right here. There we go. Pin him down again. I know that Tortoise is off to my right. The WT made it back to the building, so he's doing some work. And that, look at that dent. That dent's right in the upper part of the plate there. So just not very lucky in that case. I will take the side of the turret. Could have gone for a track, but it looked like we had these guys. And then this dude shows up, and this is not the guy I want to see. I'm going to try to track him here. Doesn't quite work. Probably didn't even hit the track. And now I'm starting to think I need to leave this position. Let's take a look at how the battle's gone. We're not doing great. It's 7-4. The Kron has done some work up there in the castle. He had some buddies a minute ago, but several of them have died who got in there. The Charioteer and TVP are at least in supporting positions. And while me and the Tortoise are redline sniping, we had customers. But now we're about to not have customers. I don't think that T-68/4 is going to come back out. So we watch it for a second, and pretty soon here now I'm going to do something, gasp, that you should learn how to do in your slow casemates. This idea that I'm too slow to get anywhere, try to get that out of your head. Doesn't matter what you're driving. It just requires a little forethought and a little bit of W effort. The good news as I'm looking at this map is we have decent coverage, so I can start moving here as soon as I get off my tail and start figuring out. I'm just kind of, for the moment, thinking, all right, when am I going to make this move? Is he going to push or is he not going to push? I didn't really want to leave the Tortoise because I thought he'd done a pretty nice job, as well as the WT. WT did a great job surviving that whole thing and being a spotter. We had a nice crossfire, and we were able to take those 2 tanks that pushed in there down and keep the Object 268. Now I see the fight going on over in the castle. So this is the reposition part. We're getting towards mid-game. This is where your decisions become extremely important. The less tanks there are on the board, the later in the game, the more important your decision-making is at that point. So I am staying more or less on the red line. And something interesting happens here that I did not really expect. What I'm trying to do right now is creep my draw range into the edge of it so I can see the 263 and the Conway and maybe get a couple shots. What this is doing is it is drawing me further north than I wanted to be initially, but I was hoping to get some shots. This is going to be a problem here in a moment. So here comes the 263. The Charioteer is up here. I think he jumps up and gets a shot on him, or maybe kills the other. Yeah, there he goes. He kills the Patton. No, sorry, the 5051 killed the Patton. Then the 212A kills our 5051. Now I'm cutting back this way. I didn't get the shots, and in just a moment you're going to see this 263 make a bold move. And look what we've done. We've kind of evened this thing up just a little bit. Even though we're showing down quite a bit on hit points, it's hard for me to tell on mine because a lot of that damage was done outside of my draw range, and I don't really know what happened. So we'll come around here, and I'm thinking about getting this tree knocked down. Charioteer is kind of sitting there. The Kron is doing some great work. As a matter of fact, he is a huge reason why we won. I'm going to keep going. And the intention here for me is to get into these buildings and maybe work my way up to help the Kron, but I'm kind of watching what's happening in the middle right here. And this is that situation where you got to pay attention to the mini-map and the things around you. Notice I'm kind of keeping my camera pointed towards it so I can see what that purple marker is doing. I know what the terrain looks like, so I'm sort of watching him. Now I'm looking at him right here. I'm going, oh, is he actually going to come up and over? And he certainly is. So we swing around, and I know a couple things here. So the first thing is he's going to come in and try to take a shot at the Charioteer. I think he misses. Yeah, he misses, thank goodness. So now there's me, there's an Artie, there's the Kron, who's a little bit out of position because he's on the north side of the castle right now. There's the Charioteer and maybe the WT, but I think the WT is kind of out of range as well. I also know there's still 3 enemy artillery, but I'm going to stand in here because I tried to get a shot on his side, but that didn't get there. Shooting him in the front's not great. Look, the Artie actually goes after me. That was a bad shot, so I shot behind him. Going to fix my track issue, and now this is the TD brawling thing. I don't have any real good options right here. I could keep on backing up, but there's no cover to get to. I could have run forward and go for the rock, but he's going to shoot me in the side. What I'm going to try to do here is just pin him down, and I can see the WT is actually working his way back towards me. So we're going to try to go for the track here if we can. We miss. Just a bad shot on my part. I am getting stunned. He just keeps coming in. Thank goodness that missed. Go for the track again. There we go. We track him. All right, so the Ole maneuver. I tracked him. I can see he's got his gun online, but I'm going to try to get outside of the azimuth of his gun right here. So we truck in here. Good, we got it. Oh, shoot, he fixed it. All right, so either used a kit or has a good crew. He knows what I'm doing, so I go ahead and shoot him again to track him, and we're going to try to get around. He didn't have his shot, all right, for whatever reason, couldn't get the one he wanted. I was still easily in his azimuth, but down he goes. The Kron has flexed back, supported me, and now it's just a matter of trying to survive the artillery shells coming in. So there's one going after me. He hits me. I think I get tracked by another one here. There we go. Not as bad as it could have been. It only lost me about 240 hit points right there. And I'm just hoping the third one doesn't come in here in a second. Now the Tortoise and the WT are pushing. I can see that over on the east side. So now it's time for me to take my casemate TD, okay, my red line sniper, and get forward and support the guys that are still in the game. Right? I have some hit points to give. I need to get my gun forward. You see too many times guys hanging out in the back. You would often see somebody still sitting where I was, just sitting there. I don't even know why, but take a look at where the tanks are. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to support this Kron. The WT and the Tortoise figure out that the 268/4 is not there, and then this WZ is out in the open. That's what Kedge was talking about. The guy was not alive, wasn't playing for quite a long time, and then when he came back alive, he just YOLO'd in and died, and that's very unfortunate for his team because it was going to be an altogether different issue trying to peel out a turtled up WZ and an object at the same time. But he makes a bad move for his team and gives us a huge advantage by wasting his tank. People do that a lot. You know, you see them, they get frustrated or they come back into a game and they look at it and like, oh, we're losing, and then they just drive forward. I will reference the 53-55 who killed himself earlier. Right now it would be really nice to have that tank still alive, and he probably would be in this game. Having both a 155-51 with its fast-firing gun and the hard-hitting 53-55 both in the game, that would be absolutely amazing right now. But we catch their 212 out. I catch their 53-55, and I thought he was going to go right into the castle, but he makes a huge mistake, turns right here looking for a shot. I don't know if he didn't have sixth sense or what he thought was going on there, but I'm able to kill him. I'm going to stay on the back slope. This is to keep the GW from having a good shot at me. I'm also using this guy as armor. I'm peeking up here. If you ever play Artie and you notice the arc of it, oftentimes when you're trying to hit somebody on a back slope, say he was back here in this area, you'll see the line go straight through hulks or near hulks, and so if he hits short, or even if he's hitting dead on, it's going to hit this thing first. If there's an angle, obviously if he's over here or say over this way, then there's less of a chance, but I figure he's in this general area, so we'll just complicate his shot as much as possible. And now I'm also thinking I'm probably going to use this guy as armor. The 268-4 is a Brutus. I'm going to have a lot of trouble. I've already spammed all of my heat, which I should have saved some of that. And I'd rather not take any more hits than I need to. But I am moving this guy's marker. Anyone who can see that marker is going to see it kind of scooching forward. I did hit the tree, so I'm going to make a little courtesy backup just in case he decides to try to put the smack down in this bush, and the Kron moves forward. I wasn't really on board with the Kron's move. That was a little bit iffy to me what he was doing right there. But he is one of the only guys that has the speed really to do that. And he should maybe be able to take one hit from the 268-4. But he finds that guy and he's got all kinds of hit points. And now I'm having trouble trying to shoot through this guy. I'm going to try to track him here. We actually, as he turned away, I actually get up underneath the side of him right there and get what I would call a lucky hit, but I'll take it. And that shaves a little bit of the hit points off him. And unfortunately, the Kron is in big trouble here. He's only got 16 hit points, and the GW is able just to splash him. All right, so we've got 2 TDs against the Artie and the 268-4. These two should be able to get in there and kill the GW without dying. We'll see if that actually happens. Now I'm looking at this going, well, now I'm the only guy with the hit points. GW dies, good. And I'm considering this for a minute, and I say, well, I got to go. Let's just push in. If I can get up underneath this guy without taking a hit, then there's the potential for one of my buddies there. And then I see him come out, and that's brutal. A terrible shot. I should have gone for a track, and I'm just going to eat a big old heat shell. He's just going to thump me right here. It's going to hurt. Like, don't do it, don't do it. Boom, and just like that. Oh, look at the glow where he hit me. That's actually pretty cool. And it looks like he went right into that lower plate. Aimed for the lower plate and got what he wanted. Already shaves 74 off of him. I'm going to carve over to the left and try to get into this cover. And now I'm a one-shot as well. But there's still 3 of us in an Artie, so now we got to work together. I'm going to sit here for a minute and see if these guys can't sneak forward enough that they can get some shots. And they're in a bit of a tricky situation there. I don't want to just drive around the corner and get killed. But here they come. So I want to meet them about the same time. And of course the guy doing the tree shows up right now. So that's pretty awesome. So the rest of this video is going to have a chainsaw involved. This is why people have offices and don't do shit from home, my friends. The neighbor on the other side has a big machine going on, and she is having insulation put in her attic, and now I have a tree about 20-30 feet that the neighbor's having taken down from my ears right here. Pretty soon a large chunk of it's going to hit the ground and go gagage. Alright, so I want to get in here at the same time with these guys while Mr. Chainsaw does his thing. I'm going to probably have to go view that because that's going to be awesome. I think he's climbing it. Tortoise has very few hit points. He killed the WZ, but we have a crossfire and an Artie. I hate to say it, but the Artie becomes integral to this win. I need to get this shot. I don't want him to get away, so we get in here. There we go. We get it, and now I'm going to have to Olay. My only chance here is to go by this guy. I thought about trying to trap him, but I bet he probably has more power than I do. And based on, wiggle jiggle, I may not win that fight. Also, the Tortoise is so slow. I'm just going to go to the Tortoise side. So we'll just zing right by this guy. I was thinking about pinning him just for a minute. Okay, there you go. This has a lot to do with turn circles and radius and all that good stuff, but I was able to sneak by this dude without him getting spun around on me. That works for me, and now we're going to head off this way. And now I'm thinking, oh, please, Tortoise, do not just drive up and over. And there he is. I'm like, oh, why is he even there? I don't know that. I can't tell you why. I wish he'd have stayed back here, but he's just out in the open, and we're going to lose it. But he does a nice job of getting a shot in. Guy had a kit. All right, that's important. 268 got tracked, fixed it. Kills the Tortoise. Now it's just me and the Artie. So things you got to think about here. We've got ourselves to the end of the game. Good. Lost a couple guys. Bad. I don't have enough hit points to even really take an HE shot. You see the Tortoise says he effed up. So he understands what happened right there. And it might have been that he thought the 268-4 was going to be turning with me and face-hugging me. And I probably boofed him maybe a little bit by zinging by and kind of bringing the 268 back towards him. But I didn't want to die. All right, so here is the 268. I have him proxy lit. And what I don't want to do is allow him to come around that corner and hit me. And what I do want to do is give the artillery as much time as possible to take chunks off this guy. So I'm quite happy if he wants to see here. We still have 2 minutes. So we got about 3 or 4 arty shots in this time. I want to say 155-51, somewhere around 25-30 seconds. So with aiming and other stuff, I thought he might make a move. Now I thought he might be coming towards me. I'm going to go for the track and slash damage on the front. There we go. All right, that was nice. 261. Now he's down to 64. I switched to HE. I don't think that's enough. I don't think my HE is enough unless I get a pretty good roll to kill him. But I do think it will track him and maybe do some damage. And if I'm lucky, I might kill him right there. So I think he's probably going to try to come and win this thing. He knows that if he allows the RD to hit him, he's probably going to lose. It looks like he's going to try to side scrape, so I'm going to shift over to the right and not allow him to have a shot into my side. I just won't even make it available, and it looks like maybe he's just coming at me now, so I want to track him. Boom. And all I'm hoping for is that. Already takes him down. 3,266 damage, 2,116 assist. I believe it's an ace. Maybe it's not an ace tanker. I don't remember. Anyway, it was top. I don't think it's an ace tanker. It was top for the team right there. Lots of goodness in this one, I think. Assessing the initial matchmaker, assessing the match and the map, going to a position and not allowing myself just to drive forward to the standard spot and get overrun. A flex to cover or help the other side. Kind of a pop-up situation I didn't have any control of. The 263 shows up. I just have to deal with it as best I can at that point. And then pushing forward with your casemate, keeping your votes towards the end and being a part of the win at the end of the game. And then some kind of casemate brawling with the two walruses over there attempting to out-circle each other and helping with your team and whatnot. I'm not saying everything I did there was perfect. If there's mistakes you saw or other ideas you had, please put them down in the comments. That's what we do here. And here goes the guy cutting down the tree again. That's all I've got for today. We will see ya.